In the quiet heart of Vermont, there was a town so peaceful that even the sirens of passing ambulances sounded like lullabies. The people there trusted one another. They left their doors unlocked at night, waved at strangers from their porches, and believed that evil lived far away, in the kind of cities where the lights never slept. But evil, as it always does, found a way to disguise itself beneath the soft hum of routine. It began one gray November morning, when the body of a local art teacher, Caroline Myers, was found near the edge of Blackwood Creek. She was known for her kindness, for her gentle way with children, and the whole town felt as though the color had been drained from its streets. Sheriff Daniels stood by the creek that morning, hat pressed low against the drizzle, staring at the pattern of bruises on her arms, precise, deliberate, almost artistic. He'd seen many things in 20 years of service, but there was something in this that whispered of ritual, of intention. The town grieved. News stations arrived, the kind with slick-haired anchors who looked out of place on the muddy banks of Vermont. They called it a tragedy, a fluke, a senseless act. But within 2 weeks, when another body turned up, this time a teenage boy from the high school, left in the same way, eyes closed and palms up as if in prayer, the town began to lock its doors. Daniels didn't sleep. He studied the crime scene photos every night in his office, a cup of stale coffee trembling in his hand. Both victims had something carved into the wood near them, a symbol, circular, almost like a spiral of thorns. No one recognized it. The FBI was called in, and with them came Agent Claire Whitmore, young, sharp-eyed, and known for her work on serial cases no one else wanted to touch. She walked into the sheriff's office on a cold Monday morning with a leather folder under her arm and a look that meant she didn't believe in coincidences. "You've got a pattern," she said, scanning the board covered in photographs. 2 victims in 2 weeks, same presentation, same symbol. "If we don't stop him now, there'll be more." Sheriff Daniels nodded. "We don't have much to go on. Killers like this," she replied softly, "they're storytellers. Every mark, every position, it means something to them. We just need to learn the language." For weeks, the town held its breath. Parents walked their kids to school, doors stayed bolted, and every unfamiliar car drew suspicion. The killer, meanwhile, watched. He liked the fear. He liked how predictable it made them. From the shadows of his small cabin outside town, he painted the faces of his victims on canvas, not out of remorse but out of obsession. To him, they were not people, they were fragments of a single portrait he'd been trying to complete his entire life. He called it the Silent Choir. Each painting was beautiful and haunting, faces frozen in calm, the same serenity he forced upon them in death. He believed that through them, he was cleansing the noise of the world, silencing the chaos his mother once told him lived in every human heart. No one in town knew the man named Leonard Crane. He'd moved there 5 months earlier, renting a small cabin at the edge of the forest, saying he was a landscape artist. He paid in cash, kept to himself, and painted all day. People thought he was quiet, maybe a little strange, but kind enough when spoken to. And that's how monsters survive, by wearing the skin of ordinary men. One night, as the wind screamed through the trees, Leonard sat before his unfinished canvas. He hummed softly to himself, the same lullaby his mother used to sing before she'd lock him in the basement for hours, telling him that silence was the only thing that made the world safe. He remembered her voice even now, decades later, soft and trembling. "When the world goes quiet, the pain goes too." He'd made the world quiet 4 times now. And yet, it still felt loud. Back at the station, Agent Whitmore stared at a map spread across the table. The killings formed a triangle, each victim near water, each site within a 6-mile radius. "He's staying close," she said. "Comfort zone killer. Likely lives somewhere near this creek." Daniels leaned closer. "You think he's local?" She nodded. "Locals don't panic. Outsiders move too much. This one's comfortable here. Maybe even respected." A week later, a woman named Sarah Price went missing after her evening jog. The town snapped. Search parties combed the woods for 2 days until a deputy found her necklace near a trail by the creek. Daniels felt the old dread tightening in his chest. "He's accelerating," Claire whispered. "The intervals are shrinking. He's losing control." They searched deeper into the woods that night, flashlights slicing through fog like knives through cotton. Somewhere far away, Leonard watched them from his porch, painting the reflection of their lights on the water. His hands were steady. His breathing calm. He knew they were close, but that was part of the art. The beauty was in the inevitability. At midnight, rain began to fall, slow at first, then harder, drumming against the leaves. Daniels and Claire split from the others, following muddy tracks that led toward an old cabin. Smoke curled from its chimney. The sound of classical music drifted faintly through the rain. Daniels raised his flashlight. "You hear that?" Claire nodded, drawing her gun. "Debussy. Claire de Lune. He's inside." Daniels motioned for Claire to move to the side as he approached the front porch. The steps creaked under his boots, each sound swallowed by the rain. Through the window, they could see a man sitting at an easel, brush moving slowly over a large canvas. His head tilted slightly to the rhythm of the music, his posture calm, almost graceful. For a moment, Daniels thought they might have been wrong. The man looked too peaceful to be a killer. But when Claire's flashlight caught the edge of the canvas, the breath left her chest. It was a painting of the missing woman, Sarah Price. Her likeness was so precise it looked alive, except for one thing, her eyes. They were closed, painted with that same eerie calm as the others. Claire whispered, "We go in now." Daniels nodded. He pushed the door open slowly, the hinges groaning like something out of a bad dream. The smell hit first, paint thinner, damp wood, and something darker, metallic. Leonard turned his head, eyes cold blue, almost colorless. "Evening," he said softly, brush still in hand. "You're just in time. I was finishing her." "Leonard Crane?" Daniels asked, gun steady. He smiled faintly. "Names are funny, aren't they? They stop mattering when you become what you're meant to be." Claire's voice was low, measured. "Put down the brush, Leonard." He sighed, almost disappointed. "Do you know what silence sounds like, Agent Whitmore? It's not the absence of noise. It's the absence of guilt." Daniels took a step closer. "Where's Sarah Price?" Leonard's eyes flicked toward the back door. "She was supposed to be the last note in my symphony. But she screamed too loud. I had to quiet her early." Claire moved fast. She kicked the table, sending paint jars flying, and lunged forward. Leonard dropped the brush and swung a knife from his side pocket, grazing her arm. Daniels fired once, the bullet tearing through Leonard's shoulder. He stumbled backward, crashing into the easel, red smearing across the white canvas. Outside, the rain fell harder. The two agents dragged Leonard to the floor, cuffing him as he laughed quietly through the blood. "You don't understand," he whispered. "You can't arrest art." They found Sarah alive, barely breathing, tied in the back room. Her pulse was weak, but she lived. She was the one who broke the chain. In the weeks that followed, the town began to thaw from its fear. The newspapers called it the Vermont Silence Case. They showed pictures of Sheriff Daniels and Agent Whitmore outside the courthouse, stone-faced and tired. Leonard Crane was sentenced to life in a federal psychiatric facility, where he spent his days painting walls with nothing but his fingernails. But the story didn't end there. Claire visited him once, months after the trial. She wasn't sure why, maybe to understand. He sat in a white room, sunlight spilling across his face, humming the same lullaby they'd heard that night. "You came back," he said without looking up. "I needed answers," she replied. "Why them?" Why the symbol? He smiled, tracing a spiral in the air with his finger. It's not a symbol. It's a cycle. Pain creates silence. Silence creates peace. Peace creates pain again. Don't you see? You're part of it too. Claire stared at him for a long time. You think you were making peace? I was cleaning the noise, he said simply. And you stopped me halfway through. She left without another word. Outside the hospital, the air was bright and cold. She stood for a long time by her car, thinking about all the faces she'd seen in this job, victims, killers, and everyone in between. Evil never arrived wearing a mask. It smiled. It painted. It prayed. And it believed, somehow, that what it was doing was right. Sheriff Daniels retired soon after. He moved to the coast, bought a small boat, and spent his mornings watching the tide roll in. But sometimes, late at night, he would wake up hearing that same piano piece echoing faintly in his mind. He'd look out toward the dark horizon and think about the creek, about the faces in the photographs, about the silence that still lingered in that town. A year passed. Then one morning, a letter arrived at the FBI office in Washington. No return address. Inside was a small square of canvas, torn roughly at the edges. It was painted in shades of gray and blue, waves crashing under a stormy sky. In the corner, a faint spiral symbol had been drawn, the same one from the killings. The signature read simply, L. Claire stared at it for a long time, the hum of the office fading away. Maybe it was a hoax. Maybe someone from the press. But deep down, she knew the truth. Leonard Crane was still painting, even from inside his cell. Some nights, she dreamed of the creek. She could see the ripples spreading, endless and quiet, like the echo of something unfinished. The world had gone back to its usual rhythm: traffic, laughter, sirens, news, but underneath it all, there was still that faint hum of silence waiting to be heard. And somewhere, in a locked white room, Leonard sat beneath the fluorescent light, whispering to himself. The world will never understand, but it will remember the silence. He smiled, closed his eyes, and began to hum again.